Welcome to the Women Inspire Aspire podcast. We have with us today Meghna Joshi talking about women livelihood.
Hi, Meghna. Thanks for accepting my invite to appear in the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for the invitation. I look forward to your inspiring podcast.
Wonderful. So, for the sake of audience, could you please tell us a bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, and what you do?
Sure, I'm based out of Delhi and I'm the founder of a social enterprise called Swan Livelihood, where Swan stands for Skilled Workforce Advancing Nation. We are working in the space of skill development, empowering workforce towards sustainable livelihood opportunity through various curated programs which we implement across different groups, communities, be it youth or rural women. So we run a series of training programs, workshop sessions to empower the workforce so that they can be more skilled and lead a dignified life. And I hold my undergraduate degree in business economics honors from Delhi University and a postgraduate degree in environment and development from Ambedkar University.
Wonderful. So, can you tell us a bit about the curated programs that you conduct? What kind of skill sets are you offering to the people?
We work with rural women to empower them to become micro entrepreneurs, lead a dignified life by becoming self-independent. There is a process in which we curate our learning programs. It starts from doing a thorough need assessment to understand what are the real aspirations of the women who are residing in different parts of our country. All our training programs are very unique in nature. We don't replicate any training program because we understand the socio-cultural background of each state is different. So in need assessment, we try to find out the various parameters, dynamics behind, the women wanting to get started with something of their own. We try to understand their aspirations, their dreams. And after understanding the entire culture, background, aspirations, and dreams, that curate our learning program so that the impact on ground is more. The training programs we curate focuses end to end, starting from enabling the women to finalize their business idea through whatever skills they have. We try to help them out to find a niche or identify a niche so that they are able to streamline their idea. We try to help them to find out who will be their real customers, who will be purchasing from them so that they can also start getting revenues. We help end to end in the branding, marketing, in the digital social media aspects of their product so that they are also able to promote their products in an offline and also in an online channel. We also help them in providing market assistance. So there are a series of curated programs which, starting from helping them get started with the business idea to venturing into the business idea, getting into the nitty-gritties of how to run a business, how to scale a business, how to market their products, how to establish a niche, and also finally selling their product. There are also a couple of sessions around budgeting, accounting, which is very, very important when they are running a business because they should know that they are earning profits when they are running the business. How to price their products, also how to forge partnerships, how to prepare a pitch deck, what kind of products are sellable in the market. All these things we train them in. We also link them with the government scheme so that they can also get assistance, government support, and also be a part of the various programs empowering the rural villages, particularly the women of these regions in our country.
Okay, so when you start social enterprise project, do you work with a group of women who are all working in the same project, or do you address each of the women individually?
So it depends. There are two ways in which we approach. One could be through a community setup, and it could be through a self-help group. The other could be with the help of a grassroots organization. They may see that there is an aspiration amongst the women to also get started with something of their own, or there may be a lot of women who may be doing something or the other at their homes. Usually the interactions happen in group. Every session that we do have a batch of 20 to 25 women. There is also this aspect of peer learning. Usually we have seen that a group of 20 to 25 women, and these women may be from different villages of the same region. When they come together, when they work together, when they discuss ideas together, when they do activities together, the learning is more. The response from their community is more. Generally, all these discussions are in a very hands-on manner. It does not go in a lecture mode. There are a lot of activities, games, role play sessions, video case studies that are shown to them in their regional languages. That initiates a lot of discussions and hands-on activities. We group the women together so that they also learn from one another. So generally we have seen that the group interaction has worked more. Then we also hold their certification ceremony, and after that mentoring session happen for a period of 3 to 6 months. We are there to support them.
So let's talk a bit about your personal journey in this. How did you become inspired to become a social entrepreneur, especially focused on workforce empowerment?
I was working in the development sector. Core area of work was to monitor and evaluate the functioning of various NGOs that were functioning in Delhi NCR. Over there, the projects that I was looking into was also in the space of skill development, but it related more to youth coming from the marginalized section of the society who were very, very aspirational, who wanted to do something of their own. In a city like Delhi NCR, we see that there are a lot of malls and showrooms. And these malls and showrooms are of all the big brands who require a lot of frontline workforce. What these NGOs were doing is they were training these youth, and they were in turn placing them with the retail chains across Delhi NCR as frontline workforce, because there was also a demand from their side. But when I used to go to monitor and evaluate the working of the NGOs, one thing, a very prominent gap that I observed during my time of monitoring and evaluation was there were two set of people with whom I used to interact the most. One hand, there used to be these youth who came from the marginalized communities, primarily the slum clusters of Delhi NCR. They used to tell me that they are 10th dropout, they are 12th dropout, they are not getting opportunities, they are not getting avenues, and they are wanting to get started of something. They want to support their families, they have a lot of dreams, they also wanted to become independent. On the other hand, there were retail chains across Delhi NCR who were very pained about the fact that, even though these children were getting trained in these NGOs, they had a lot of aspirations, dreams, but the retention was very less. So they used to tell me that, look, Meghna, we spend so much time in their induction, in their onboarding process, but they stick to our organization just for a period of maximum 3 months, after which they leave. This was like a very big gap area that I saw. Throughout my journey in the development sector, my focus was on how do we create an ecosystem in this space so that on one hand, these youth who are very aspirational are able to place themselves with the organization and stick to the organization for a longer period. There was a business plan competition, a pitch presentation that happened in my university. There was a model that I had prepared, I was working on, which I pitched in the business plan, which my university had organized. Apparently, I just pitched it because I have an understanding whether this model would work fine or not. My presentation got selected. By chance, the judges who were sitting in the panel also happened to be investors. They proposed me one thing. They said that, look, Meghna, we really like your idea. If you're wanting to get started in this space full-fledgedly, we are ready to provide you with seed funding support. This entire concept of social enterprise startup was very, very new for me. But just because, it was a university space and it was through a university incubator, I was very passionate about pursuing it. And also I received full support from my professors who said that, we will provide you with seed funding. We will also provide you with mentorship. So if you're wanting to get started as somebody who doesn't even have an experience in this space, you will still be able to thrive. This was something that I really wanted to work on because I observed that this was a huge gap area. The other condition which the investors had put in front of me was that I will have to leave my job to full-fledgedly get started in this space. Then only the seed money will also be provided. So I was very smart during that time. I secured my seed money. I said that I would first want the MOU from your end, and then only I will get started in this space. So I had my MOU in my hand. The entire incubator contract was there with me. After incorporating my organization, I left my job and then I got started in this space full-fledgedly. So we had designed a training program which thoroughly also looked into the post-placement aspects along with a lot of other psychological interventions so that proper counseling support is provided and the students do not leave out on the jobs. The industry partners were very, very happy. In fact, at present, a lot of my students are also placed in the outlets of Delhi NCR. So this was the journey of getting started, and it was in the year 2020 when I had full-fledgedly started with the work of empowering youth A lot of my students have also got promoted to the level of assistant managers and managers at this point of time, which is like very, very inspiring for us because they keep sharing their awards and accolades with us. The work took a drastic turn when pandemic had hit, and we saw how the grassroots communities, particularly the urban migrants, had started to move back to their villages because of the entire situation, the unsanitary conditions, the widespread outbreak of COVID that had happened during that time. From the government as well, there was a lot of push to make the villages self-sufficient. And it was during that time when we also saw that a lot of funding support was being provided to a lot of projects and interventions that aimed at empowering communities at the rural. So it was during that time when we collaborated with another incubator, and they had just launched, they were in process of launching this program which aimed at empowering the rural communities. We started off in Haryana and it went off very well. A lot of our women whom we had trained in the first of the initial batches have been recognized as Lakpati Didis by the Ministry of Rural Development. A lot of them are now also earning a secured revenue between 10,000 to 30,000 per month. Also, the women feel very independent, they are very determined, and seeing their passion, a lot of other rural women from their own villages are coming forward to undertake the training program. So, what once started as a pilot in Haryana, we were able to scale it to Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, and also Uttarakhand this year. In fact, right now, also while I am speaking to you, I am in Haridwar at the moment, where we just today only we had the graduation ceremony of two of our cohorts, which got over just today. That's how, the other work of empowering women in their native states began, and we started seeing a lot of traction, a lot of stories, a lot of change, particularly in terms of how these women who did not even stepped out of their homes took initiative, worked really hard, and now they are on the verge of not just getting honored at the state level, but also some of them have also started with their deliveries at a pan-India level.
Fantastic. You are doing a great job, not only in terms of empowerment, you are also stopping the migration to the urban areas and making the women and youth thrive in their own place, which is great work, which is amazing work.
Yes, I also have two publications. One is in collaboration with VV Giri National Labour Institute, which is the think tank of Ministry of Labour and Employment, Government of India, which talks about how can we stop this entire process of migration, and also through skill enhancement, and also for the work that I had done in the retail sector. Two of my papers have got published, which talks about the entire framework of how we had operated and what should be done in order to make these youth retain or stick to their organizations. Both the work got published in two renowned journals.
Very good. So let's talk about your long-term vision for your social enterprise. How do you plan to scale your impact?
This is then again very interesting question around which I have, brainstormed quite a lot of times. The long-term plan is to also integrate technology into the work. All our training programs are very unique in itself, and they are largely based on the need assessment that we do, and they are pretty hands-on, and all the sessions happen in an offline mode. I feel that if we have to scale, if we have to empower more, and also if we have to reach out to the tier 3 cities as well, technology will definitely play a very important role. We have started with our work of integrating technology. Last Friday only, I was in Google's office for a boot camp on Google Academy for Startups. We got a lot of insights in terms of how can we leverage Google's expertise, the mentors that Google has got in terms of integrating technology into the work that we are doing. So definitely for the long term, that we are also able to reach out to the tier 3 cities as well, and we are able to empower many more lives, which is going on at the moment.
Okay. Do you have a number in your mind as to how many people you want to reach out to?
So I would just say 1,000 in 1,000 days.
Okay. That's great. Now, when you talked about technology, what kind of technologies do you believe has the greatest potential to transform social entrepreneurship?
I wouldn't say that I have a very specific answer to this, because while technology plays a very crucial role, when we talk about the space of social entrepreneurship, considering different geographies, our experience says that the more interior we get, people don't even have access to Android phones. Then inclusiveness plays a very, very important role, and we would not want to get discriminated irrespective of the kind of background that they are coming from, and also the technical know-how that they may have. This is something that I guess will be more clear to me in the coming days, because we have started seeking mentorship support around the same. As soon as it gets streamlined in a couple of months, I will be able to respond to you on this.
No worries. So let's talk about the sustainable development. What do you believe is missing from current global sustainable development frameworks based on your on the ground experience? What needs to be added?
I very strongly feel that after pandemic, the entire work that we had done around sustainable development goal almost got nullified, because all the goals got impacted in some way or the other. There was poverty, hunger had increased, and all the school colleges got shut down. The health, sanitation, all the goals that I find them to be very, very interlinked got disrupted in a manner that I feel that we had to literally start from scratch in order to reach to a level so that we are able to, attain the 2030 agenda of sustainable development goals. But saying that, I really feel that in the space of social entrepreneurship, SDG 17, which is partnership for goals, plays a very, very important role, because it is all about collaboration. It is all about working together. It is all about leveraging the expertise of one another. And hence, in all our discussions, in all the activities that we do, we try to not just include industry partners, investors, but also youth, young change makers, so that they can come up with more innovative ideas. We also try to loop in academicians so that they are able to give their insights. We also try to loop in the civil society so that on ground knowledge we are able to get, and also the government, because we need some really good policy level interventions. Further percolates down at the level of ministries, policies are formulated around the same. So I feel that SDG 17 plays a very, very important role, and I felt that, initially when I was getting started in this space, there were a little challenges in bringing everybody together. But yes, right now, after say maybe like 5 years, I'll be entering into the 6th year this November of running my social enterprise. I feel that the ecosystem around the space of social entrepreneurship, I have been able to develop an ecosystem wherein, we have a very, very collaborative space wherein everybody can come together, work together, share, discuss their ideas, and also help each other grow. At this point of time, and also moving forward, I feel that partnerships for goals will play a very, very important role in further strengthening this ecosystem, and also forging the trust of the investors who will be willing to invest in the various startups that are working around the same.
Okay, great. So I believe that your advice to anybody who is entering the social entrepreneurship space would be that partnership is the most important thing that they should be looking.
Yes, definitely. For inclusive growth, I guess partnerships for goal is very much required.
Okay, wonderful. We talked a lot about your work. Now let's talk about yourself. What hobbies and interests do you have? What do you do apart from work? How do you spend time when you are not working?
So I have multiple hobbies, and it ranges from being passionate about art and painting. So I have been following this hobby of, creating a lot and experimenting with a lot of colors and different art styles, be it acrylic, oil, charcoal. And I have been also winning a lot of accolades and awards since my childhood, have represented my school at the state and the national level. So this is something that I do generally in my free time, and this has continued since the childhood, and I find it a way to relax and also remove all the stress that I have when at times when it becomes very hectic. On the other hand, I am also an avid bird watcher. I usually like to spend my time going out for early morning walks, and also across the various biodiversity parks that we have. And I am also an avid trekker. So usually whenever I get some time, you may find me in the upper Himalayan region of our country. I have done some very good treks and have covered a lot of trek routes of India. So that's what I generally do during my free time.
Wonderful. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I'm going to ask you about societal issues that you care about. I know that you are totally working on the societal issues, but is there anything that is not covered in your work that you are already doing, which is bothering you or which is frustrating you, and you want to do something about?
I feel that we pretty much try to integrate each and every aspect of the issues and the various things that come in into our work through various interventions. Every work that we do at the grassroots, it's like a new day for us because there are new experiences. So I feel that it is pretty much integrated, it is pretty much holistic. In every training that we do, there are new learnings because people are different, regions are different. So whatever the learnings are, we try to implement, integrate the same so that we are able to improve our training programs further and try to create a more impact. So I feel it's very knitted in itself. The issues and the various causes that are there, these also intertwine within themselves to create a very holistic program and also to address to the queries of our participants or the trainees whom we interact on a daily basis.
Thank you so much. We are coming towards the end of the podcast. Do you have any questions for me or about the podcast?
No, I mean, I feel that you are doing a wonderful work by sharing and bringing out the stories of all the change makers. I have personally watched the other stories as well, which you had shared with me, and I wish you all the very best in your journey of bringing out the voices of all the change makers whom you are recording through this wonderful podcast.
Thank you so much. I wish you all the best in your life and whatever you're aspiring to do. Please take care and bye for now.
Thank you.
That was an excellent podcast with Meghna Joshi. Please subscribe to this channel and follow it for more awesome podcasts. Opinions expressed by the guests in this podcast are their own. The host or the sponsors of the podcast do not condone the opinions expressed by the guests or the actions arising out of those opinions. Any decisions or actions that the listeners might take as a result of listening to this podcast must be based on their own judgment and will be at their own risk. The podcast host or their sponsors will not be held responsible for the consequences of any actions and or decisions taken as a result of any content in this podcast.